Utie oha extra punk no. Needs FM.
State is not more or less taking any population management policy beer to deter or discourage people from having children. At age 16, she's the third of 9 children of her mother. Now with this 16, and of course secondary school, or day school, I want krahasi, and an ema memote ahafu. And no mama ne papa taxi driver, na ne ma mesro bodua, na ya no mama ne man ne kakrakra, and nsuo siniti so a all ton nsuo no wo ba me nkroma secretary ha say, and na okọ one round bi na onyamfa so 2 cities. Okọ one round bi into to me come maximum of 5 rounds for the day, and then now we're gaining or earning 10 cities. Now what the akwa no ho e school. Na obi anka hwe nkyere ma me ne papa say motu na ma wo pore enkono sa.
You see, I know now that if the state is able to discharge their basic responsibility towards the Quran, then the state will be empowered to also regulate a population growth. Because at the end of the day, we will say, Ebia, Upeke, Awupona, or Muwa, about 30% will not be in a position to take over for anything. Indeed, that becomes a responsibility. And when you are able to do proper statistics and collect data to know the trend of development, you will be able to control population and then make sure that whatever capacity of the state is, you can still live it so that every single child in Ghana will be very comfortable. Because I mean, Akora, here in Nua said, or Bemuha, Yemra, the Bobrano, and Kansata Arabia, Esther Stadium, and I said, something in one Arabia, even during school hours and all that. But it's unfortunate that we find ourselves in some of these things. But gradually, I believe that one day we'll get there. But we need to also push the state to do what is expected of them.
A very specific issue of Achimota School purportedly denying children of Rastafarian descent the opportunity to enroll, and subsequent public direction from the Ghana Education Service. Say one enko. What are the arguments in support of Achimota School, and what are the arguments against the position of Achimota School?
This particular case, is a bit dicey in a sense that there is a clash between school regulations, rights of children, and then the freedom of fundamental freedoms of people. And what we need to look at is among these three, what is a substantive right of every child? And in this case, I will conclude that it is the right to education. The other right of freedom, other jurisdictions have determined what will constitute fundamental freedom or in terms of religious belonging and other association. And then what also constitutes the lifestyle of people. And they have determined and made a clear case on that. And even Nyayake, I just was Kenya now, in 2019, Kenyan court was confronted with the same issue where Akora, Yaman admission, you are locating the class Amano, Nayasa Mano, the body baby or better, every other thing that the state must do were put in place. And at school, you can't say, or so the case traveled to the Supreme Court of Kenya. And the Kenya Supreme Court can say, Constitution did not define religion. However, the practice, if somebody is a Rastafarian, that person belongs to a religious association. And more dreadlock, and other people who belong to other belief systems that more dreadlock and also be a Rasta, constitute the lifestyle. So the principle for which we need to guide them has to do with the fact that is it on the basis of lifestyle or is it on the basis of religion? In this particular case, it is clear that Aquarano, the makeup, it is not because the child wants to have it, but it's because of a religious belief that has made him to have that kind of help. And the basic question that we also need to ask is, for him to keep that head, what would that do to that particular child? Is it going to affect the learning of the child? Is it also going to affect the social interaction of the child? If you are able to answer these questions, then clearly we can come to the conclusion that the rules of the school must stand. But so far as we are concerned here, the rights of children must be respected, and any other thing that would impede the substantive right of every child must be looked at again, because the law provides that the best interest of children must always be paramount. So in this case, if there's a class disease, a substantive right of a child as compared to school rules, what do you think should supersede the other? We need to do a lot of thinking in order to arrive at certain conclusion before we say that
now, in this instance, do we know in exact what Achimota School is saying anti-omudi dina kwalano enrollment?
Almost is a school rule. And what we have also realized is that most of the secondary schools, they don't have a well-documented rules and regulations. Most of them are governed by convention. If you are the governing board, we decided then they apply it without necessarily looking at the welfare of our parents, the rights of children. If they only do it to either protect the dignity of the school or the image of the school, rather than the school itself positioning itself to provide the dignity for children and then respecting the privacy of children. So
see, you can let us say Achimota School just about said say for rules and enrolling Kwalan, but they were not specific as to which aspect of the rule, what exactly is the rule saying.
Exactly. Most of them are conventions. Almost the schools are more documented rules and regulations. And I forming in 1960, 1970, and we are still operating it in the context of this modern society that today. That is why somebody will just come and say that children should not use technological gadgets in schools. And we know very well that technology is advancing each and every second. How do our children keep updated when it comes to technology?
It not just a colloquia, bisa.
Exactly. And there must be a review. In the share a press conference, not that for the idea that we espouse, sometimes it's unfortunate that we find ourselves in those situations. But all these people derive their efficacy from the Constitution. For that matter, they can have authority to speak the way they are speaking. If the same Constitution has guaranteed children their right to education, and then you tell me that the school rules to supersede that of the rights of inquiry, I think I have a problem with that.
And you can remember that of other stakeholders parents teacher association, old students, even employees. In this instance, Nagrat Okasano, just an employee. When Obi Eco School no kuta constitutional right that guarantees the right to education. Robin and an employee of the school, ebetimi a place one penema kwadanema. Robin and a former student of the school, ebetimi a place one makwalanema. Robin and a parent ne ba ewo school hobby, obetimi die jina so aka se oma sakwalano emma.
You see, those OSHA, the NAGAD, they are employee of the system. Parents, partners, or they partner the school for the training of Munkora. And the old student association also have some level because they feel that they are rooted in the school because school need training. And if you combine all these two groups, their responsibility towards a school, it is social. It has no legal authority in invoking certain things. It's social. The one with the authority, the governing board of the school, and then government education service. because that environment was mandated by the Constitution for the training of the employer. So if there is anything in that environment that must be of a priority, it must be that which would give children capacity. And that would be our primary consideration. And this it is premised on social welfare. So what then you make argument say because it doesn't add up. If there is anything that we need to do in respect of the law, then let's revise the law. Then we know that you are on to be in school. But
and as here can say a white person with long hair eba a Achimota school. Yeah,
yes, and you see what they are even doing it is not universal. And I say it's not national. Let's be put it that way.
Other schools are Accra Academy or cares.
They allow it. So it should tell you that most of the schools that are invoking the so-called rules and regulations, they are doing it on the basis of conventions. Not necessarily that these are things that have been documented and has been vetted and has been approved by Ghana Education Service. They are purely conventional principles that they are engaging in. And those are really there. I don't even want to look at that. But you see, the opportunity has presented itself. And I strongly believe that since there is a diverse opinion on this particular matter, I strongly believe that the court, it will settle all these issues.
Nah, there's an aspect of it where say, as someone, old students, old Achimotans Association, Professor Ernest Aite, I think he's a former vice chancellor of the University of Ghana. Or in a notice to members, are saying say, we are concerned about the breach of Achimota School's governance and regulations, and that they've written to the Ghana Director General of Ghana Education Service requesting him to withdraw the directive. I mean, technically, request is not an order. And say you are
exactly.
They are making a request. Now, who say, what the Ekokoma Ghana Education Service almost say a year school's governing system is being undermined, but not necessarily Akwadakron Warbano, the Rastafarian, the dreadlocks, impacting negatively or adversely on say yes, you see,
look at and compare or Mukwa Sports Scholars or Mumba. These are people who, at a point, were championing human rights values in this country. But once they find their children in that school, now their concept of human rights has changed. Yes, we understand that. Achimota School and Kasano. Some semi-autonomy. The formation of the governing council and all that. They have given us some authority to regulate the school. If there are a lot of things that they can do. The state will have little to do about it. That is why I feel that they say the things that they say, and they want to protect the school instead of encouraging. GS, Achimota is under GS, and GS has employed every other single person to work in that environment. And if they are asking them to do ABC, I don't think that anybody will have that authority to ask them there. Even in the form of a request there, they should withdraw those sanctions. If they have any issues with it, they should go to court. And for me, what the GS has done has demonstrated a basic responsibility towards the welfare of the scholar. And I respect them for taking this particular decision.
Utie Oha Echi Ponkno Needs FM.